Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Susan Snyder.
Present.
Steve Barkall.
Present.
Steve Carter.
Present.
Greg Gordon. Michael George.
Here.
Okay, approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve agenda. I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes from January 14th.
Approve the minutes. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chairman of the board report. Okay. I don't have a lot to say today.
That's
Greetings to the citizens of Sunrise Beach, the board, and the staff of our city. First, I want to say I'm sorry for everyone's loss. Chiefs gave up the ghost last night. Second, the city staff is so excited about the great weather we had last week, decided we needed a proclamation, so I will read that proclamation. Whereas the residents and businesses of the village of Sunrise Beach have great pride in our community and look forward each year to the opening of summer session. And whereas the long cold days of January are behind us, and together we enjoy the lengthening days and spectacular sunrises and sunsets that cast a special glow over our great community. And whereas the recent warm days of February have reminded us that summer is just around the corner, and with it, the sounds of boats and motors and laughter and splashing and all sorts of summer fun are almost here. And whereas we understand that at the Lake of the Ozarks, every February 2nd, groundhog or no groundhog, our thoughts are on the season to come. And whereas for those who have observed dry January, it's over. And whereas we are done with winter and understand this feeling is mutual across the lake region, and so we, in our official capacity, wish to proclaim that February 2nd shall be the day we look forward to and celebrate as follows. I, the undersigned chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Sunrise Beach, on behalf of the businesses and residents of our fine community, and on behalf of lake lovers everywhere, do hereby proclaim that February 2nd shall be considered in this year and in all the years going forward the official start of summer season in the village of Sunrise Beach, Lake of the Ozarks. And that all residents and businesses of the village and lake lovers everywhere are hereby encouraged to enjoy the sunshine, enjoy the warm days, get out of your boats, dust off your decks and patios, restock the refrigerator, call your family and friends, for it's time in Sunrise Beach and across the lake area. Though the calendar may seem otherwise, it is time for the season to begin. I hereunto set my hand this 10th day of February 2025 and proclaim that February 2nd shall now be and forever be considered the official start of summer season in the village of Sunrise Beach, Lake of the Ozarks, Missouri. And sorry to say, we're expecting a big snow and ice tomorrow and the next day.
Well, 3 days.
As always, call any board member if you have any questions or comments. Okay, visitors' comments. We have any visitors? Okay, Steve, why don't you tell us what's going on with your chairman's report? Board report.
You want to get to the?
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to explain what we're going through, or you want to read the bills first?
So first of all, Nathan, city attorney's not here. He
Hi.
had some personal issue come up.
Right.
Yeah, the bills are listed out here on the agenda, and I guess if there's any questions, of course, let me know, but pretty routine, I think. And yeah, I guess we'll just go down the list.
Okay, you want to read the first one?
We'll go with bill number 2025-03, an ordinance correcting a scrivener's error on ordinance 2024-21, which approved a petition for voluntary annexation filed by Anthony Russo regarding certain property contiguous and compact to the village of Sunrise Beach, Missouri, annexing said property into the village, adopting zoning district classifications for the property, and authorizing other actions in connection with such annexation. First and second reading. So a motion for first reading given by,
Motion to accept on the first motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead.
second reading, bill number 2025-03. An ordinance correcting a scrivener's error on ordinance 2024-21, which approved a petition for voluntary annexation filed by Anthony Russo regarding certain property contiguous and compact to the village of Sunrise Beach, Missouri, annexing said property into the village, adopting zoning district classifications for the property, and authorizing other actions in connection with such annexation. Second reading for roll call vote. Greg Gordon,
Yes.
Susan Schneider,
Yes.
Steve Barthol,
Yes.
Steve Carter,
Yes.
Michael George.
Yes.
Next one.
Bill number 2025-04, an ordinance approving the final plat for Kai subdivision, a two-lot subdivision of property generally located at 17291 and 7295 North Highway 5 in the village of Sunrise Beach, Missouri. First and second reading. A motion for reading of first.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Second reading, bill number 2025-04, an ordinance approving the final plat of Kai subdivision, a two-lot subdivision of property generally located at 17291 and 17295 North Highway 5 in the village of Sunrise Beach. Roll call for vote. It's going to be Michael George,
Yes.
Steve Carter,
Yes.
Greg Gordon,
Yes.
Susan Schneider,
Yes.
Steve Barthol,
Yes.
and then
Okay.
or we want to go to resolution?
Resolution, yes. Go ahead and go through 'em.
Resolution 2025-01, a resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the Missouri Department of Natural Resources Clean Water State Revolving Fund Program for the financial assistance under the Missouri Clean Water Law, Chapter 644 RSMO.
Okay, we should probably,
Okay.
Yeah, let me just give you a little bit of lead in, I guess. Jeff Meadows from CM Archer Group is here. Of course, you guys are familiar with Jeff. A year ago, you authorized an SRF application, State Revolving Fund application, for what we were calling at that time Phase 4 sewer, which is really the expansion of the north sewer treatment plant and the decommissioning of the south one. So that application, again, was authorized about a year ago. It's gone through the state process. We were, Jeff knows the terminology better. We weren't selected for actual funding. We were put on the funding list. Jeff has been in constant contact with DNR. It's going through the process. That treatment plant is in design. The environmental review has come back, correct? So just to be very clear, that project is in the pipeline. DNR knows what our project is about. They have not formally funded it yet. However, we have all reason to believe that it will be funded. Correct? Correct. Okay. So here we are now, 1 year later, and it's been a conversation point between myself and Jeff for a little while. What do we do this year? And there was a point where we just felt like maybe we just sit tight and wait. However, upon further discussion, both internally with Jeff and then Jeff with DNR, we do feel like we ought to move forward with an application this year. The deadline is March 1st. And so in order to get it done, of course, the board would need to authorize it. As you all know, we engaged CM Archer Group earlier to basically game plan the water and sewer build out of the whole system to all the locations within the city that don't have water and sewer currently. And though that plan was given to you last month, there are many different areas that don't have it. as we went through discussions, what we're proposing tonight is next phase would be Center Road, Northview Road, Rock Harbor Drive, that neighborhood. It's accessed off of Beechwood. It would be the last neighborhood off of Beechwood that is not served now that would, of course, get water and sewer through the program. Indian Hills, there is a little stub of Indian Hills that we would want to run water and sewer down to the city limits. Excuse me. But that's kind of secondary right now. So again, what we're proposing tonight is to file another SRF application for that project. I think we'd refer to it as phase 5. And it would include both water and sewer. And in order to do that, we actually have to file 2 different applications. Jeff knows this stuff much better than I do. The DNR splits, there's a water side and a sewer side. You can't combine them. And so essentially that's what we're proposing. I think there's about 67 connections. That's an estimate, but that was what was included in Jeff's initial review of that area. That assumes everyone is connected, of course. Total project cost is around 2.9 million, which includes contingencies, engineering, everything. That's kind of an all-in cost. And it's not necessarily split equally between water and sewer. I think the sewer is a little bit more expensive, but I think I've summarized it well enough. Correct.
Well, and we're hoping that we will be able to start on not only the 2 plants, what we're gonna do with them, but also maybe towards the end of the year, maybe start on that project.
That's correct. I guess the first thing Steve mentioned, I just want to point out that whatever we do here, if we decide to send in a new application for water and sewer extensions, it's not going to impact the schedule for the wastewater treatment plant work. That works on its way. There's 2 different ways that we can apply for this next round. We can submit a single a new application that includes both the wastewater treatment facility and the collection system work. Or we could just leave the treatment facility the way it is and have a separate application, a new application for the collection system work. There's a difference only in the funding, and I don't think we'll know the best way to do that until we get a little bit further along. We need to, in order to file the applications for the water and sewer extensions, we also have to have an engineering report to accompany that application. Until we have that engineering report, and that gives all of the demographics and all of the scoring criteria that allows DNR to score our application. So we have to provide that. Then I think Steve and I plan to go to Jeff City and meet with DNR and walk through it and determine what's going to be the most beneficial. Do we do a single application for both treatment and the collection, or do we separate out the collection? We may be eligible, it may be beneficial financially to put them together. We may be eligible for more grant dollars that way. But if we do, then we're going to really have to hoof it, because we have to bid the collection system work at the same time as we do the treatment plant work. So we have to award both of those at the same time for a single closing.
And you have to have them in by March 1st.
The application's March 1st. We would, but to keep the treatment plant on schedule for later this year, we would need to be designing and acquiring easements for the collection system and the water simultaneously, so that we can bid those all at the same time.
If you're meeting with DNR, would they be honest with you that whether or not they think you're going to be able to get both of them if they ask us to hook them together, because we really have to get those plants fixed?
So there will not be any, the treatment facility is going to be on its own merit. So we already have submitted that in last year's pool. They will reassess it now for it separate. if we have a new application, they'll score it as well. So, we won't, if we're not going to, it will not fall behind regardless.
Cause that, I feel that is super important that we get it done this year.
Right.
And I would think that because we're talking about expanding that north plant, that would kind of help with the proposal of adding more.
I agree, and that's why I think we want to go and really explain our thoughts and our
Okay.
approach. We also want to explain our approach of why we want to do the water and the sewer at the same time in that area. I think it would be financially beneficial. I think we'd get better contractor prices if we could bid both at the same time.
Yes.
It'd be much better for the residents. We're turning it all up at one time instead of doing the water and then coming back next year and doing the sewer and so forth. So I think there's advantages to doing it that way. It's a little bit different. And as Steve mentioned, financially, they have to keep their water and sewer separately. It's two separate sources from the federal government where they get their money. So they have to keep it separate. But my hope is that we can bid them at the same time so that we can award them to a single contractor.
No,
That's
that's
they're accustomed to doing a lot, but that's.
Okay. Question? Anybody? Well, we need to vote on the
Let me say
resolution.
one more thing.
Okay.
What Jeff does costs some money.
Mhm.
They don't work for free.
What?
And we don't have the actual agreements in hand just yet.
Mm.
But we have at least agreed on the fee. And so Jeff, if you would just explain what is needed in order to file the application and
Sure.
what the fee would then be.
But the application itself is just a few pages, and when Steve first started talking about it, we don't charge for assisting through that application process. That's just part of the service. However, what we've done so far for the bond issue is come up with some kind of high level cost estimates for each of the 12 or 14 areas that we looked at. In order to with the application, you have to submit an engineering report. So it's not just the cost, but it's all the demographics, all the system information, the rates and so forth. So we have to compile that both for the water and for the sewer in order for them to score our applications. So it'd be an engineering report for each of those. Steve and I talked through, we're in the ballpark of about $9,000 for the water and the same for the sewer. So it'd be about $18,000 total
When is that due and payable?
Now,
at the completion of the applications. And those would be, that's, I believe you already have a reimbursable ordinance or resolution in place that when it comes time and that project is funded, then we can roll those dollars into the loan and you can reimburse yourself for that.
we have to pay up front for that, and then it'll come back in the form of a loan. And that's not an unusual thing, the engineer's report, so.
Do you need a motion?
So we just,
Please, yes.
the resolution in motion.
Make a motion that we approve 18,000 for the water and sewer. I guess you call it pre-engineering.
Engineering report, yes, sir.
Or are we,
Wait, are we doing
On
the
the
resolution? Or are we doing?
we're doing a motion to accept the resolution?
Yes.
Okay, so
Motion to accept resolution.
2025-01.
Yes.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
David's first and a second, okay. All right, are you ready for
Did the other resolution?
resolution number 2025-02, a resolution of Village of Sunrise Beach adopting the Camden County multi-jurisdictional local hazard mitigation plan?
Questions on that?
I can give you the basic. Let me just real quick. This is something we have to do if we want to be eligible for federal disaster funds. Camden County's leading it. They contracted with Mark Twain Council of Governments. There was a meeting in December. I participated in it. The draft plan is out there. It looks very it looks fine to me. I've looked at it, briefly. There's zero obligation, there's no cost to the city if we adopt it. The only obligation I think is that we will continue to work on disaster preparedness. Nothing specific. We've had warning sirens in the community, and we put out information via newsletter. So yes, we want to continue to work on that. We also want to continue to participate in the emergency management group, the county level and others that may pop up. So pretty simple stuff, but I do. It's something that really we must do in order to be able to.
Make a motion, we accept resolution 2025-02.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Before we move on to old business, do we not need to vote on
We do.
the approval of the report, the engineer's report?
Yeah, I think it could even maybe be bundled into one, I think. So first of all, and did we vote on resolution?
You don't
You
have
the resolution, but you did not. So there was a motion for the 18,000 given by, Steve Barkle. There was a second, I didn't hear who seconded the 18,000, but that was a separate motion. So
It's not listed on here, that's
it's
why I'm
not
asking.
listed, right, so I wasn't sure how you.
No,
Well-
we do. A simple motion would suffice. I think. It would be-
Okay.
yes.
So we had a first, and who seconded
Second,
that?
it was, okay, okay, so I have a motion and a second, and all in favor on that one?
Aye. Okay,
And there was a vote on the resolution.
There was, yes.
now
That
we
was the
can move on to old business.
Okay, ready for old business? Okay, bill number 2025-02, an ordinance authorizing a conditional permit for property located at Odo Drive, Village of Sunrise Beach, Missouri. Camden County parcel IDs 07-2.0-003.2-000-033.000 and 07-2.0-003.2-000.013.000, and this is the second reading.
And don't we have, some news about this though?
Yeah, it was withdrawn by the RV park developer owner. And so Nathan is not here. He sent an email earlier this afternoon, so I really haven't time to talk to him about specifically what he'd recommend. I will say in my past, I've always been advised if you have an ordinance that was given a first reading, it should appear on the agenda for the second reading and the board should take some action.
Like dismiss it because it's not legitimate anymore?
Sure. I mean, the project is dead as far as I understand.
Yeah, so rather than voting to approve the second reading, I would say we need to have a motion to dismiss this ordinance as non-something.
Make a motion to eliminate bill number 2025-02. I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now, does that have to get a roll call though, because it's the second reading?
Stood.
I'll do it just, okay, Susan Schneider,
Yes.
Steve Barkle.
Yes.
Steve Carter.
Yes.
Michael George.
Yes.
Greg Gordon.
So Levi did email you and say that it's open.
It is over.
Okay, yes.
I just didn't know if we have to do, I'm like, I'll do both. but it's not sure.
Well,
I-
Well, we got
Nathan's not
notification
here.
from that it's, then yes.
Yeah, I mean, you can't make him accept
Yeah,
an
we
ordinance.
had a couple conversations with him by phone and he then called later and basically told us verbally that he was withdrawing and I accepted it. So,
Sorry to hear that.
Sure.
Steve, do you have anything else to add on your
Um,
report?
not really. Let me just look. So first of all, thank you, Chairman Schneider, for humoring the staff a bit. February 2nd was a warm day. The next day was warm and it's just been cold ever since. So I don't know what.
You jinxed it.
I don't know
Now
what
we're
the
gonna have
groundhog
snow and ice
was. I
again.
wasn't thinking, but yeah, it's wishful thinking, but we all know summer is and will be here soon. And
That's quick enough.
we
You
can't,
know,
obviously can't wait.
Last one Thursday.
And so, oh yeah, I did want to make a mention of really the two things.
Mhm.
CDBG grants. Last month, I said out on the dais that we were denied these CDBG grants. It's very frustrating, disappointing to us. We do have a meeting with Community Development Block Grant staff on the 25th of February to debrief and figure out what happened. The state sent the award list out on Friday, and we reviewed that. We looked, and it is very frustrating. I
There's
just leave it
no
at that.
reason given of why we did not receive the grants, which is frustrating to me. I think they should at least have to tell you why yours didn't come.
Right, and when you look at the list, I mean, these are, I'm sure, worthy projects. I would assume so at least, but some of it just doesn't add up. So much of CDBG depends on your low to moderate income number, and our number is 76.8%, which is rather high, frankly. When you look at the low to moderate income numbers for the projects that were awarded, there were many that appear, the data that we have, that they pushed out, that is less than 50%. So just on that alone, it doesn't really add up. And then secondly, the grant guidance said clearly $500,000 maximum award. Well, there are many awards in excess of that. And so why? Well, we don't have an answer yet. We will get answers. I'll continue to inform the board. In my opinion, I don't think this fight is over. I just don't. It just
doesn't feel right the way they awarded them.
It doesn't. And, we've applied for 2 grants, and I understand that, that was, maybe pushing it a bit. I mean, they were good grants, don't get me wrong. But to have 0 is unexpected. And, so I just want to let the board know that we're continuing to fight on that. The other thing is, I don't want to go in great detail, but we had a major water main repair. We have a 12-inch main through much of town. That 12-inch main was leaking at a certain spot. Took us a long time to find that leak. We used the best equipment we had our hands on. We eventually used MRWA as a resource, and they were very helpful. We located the leak, dug it open, found where it was leaking at a joint between the 12-inch and where it necks down to 6. And so we made the repair. And when we made that repair, turned the water back on, the main actually blew just upstream, probably 4 or 5 feet from where that. And at that point, we had no choice but to stop. It was about 10 o'clock at night when that happened. And so we came back the next day and made the repair. It's so far so good. I really give our crews a lot of credit. It was a tough job, the biggest job by far that we've encountered together. And they did very well. It was tough. It was hard work. Kind of stressed the limits of what we're capable of, to be honest. But I think they really did come through. And so I just want to note that, without going into great detail, the crews we have are experienced primarily in roads and so forth, some utilities, but the water and sewer utilities, continues to be generally new. And of course, we're learning. We've got our employees are, having some experience behind them now, but it continues to be a learning experience for all of us. So, I just felt like we did pretty well with
You
this.
didn't have any feedback on the water boil and all that kind of.
No, it's a required component of it, and very good cooperation from our customers. I have to say, I mean, they were very cooperative and understanding, and so there was no issues there.
Okay.
Didn't expect any, but okay. So we'll try to keep the board informed as these, it's kind of happening. Just so we always try to keep, have good communication with you all as well. Other than that, that's it.
Did everybody notice Chief's report about his training with the FBI and what's going on there? I do want to comment one thing. Chief Craig, is that I really appreciate the communication you do on Facebook. A lot of constituents are reading that, and I think it's really good information for them to get, and especially like you noticed, you told them today that there's gonna be snow and ice and everything. I think that's real important, and they sure do love your stories, so. Got a writer on our
It's been
hands.
fun.
Yeah, no, I think it's real important, and I'm glad you do that, so. Committee reports, do we have any committee reports? Nope. And I am happy about the training that Chief Craig is doing. He is going through some courses where it's good for leadership and everything. So I think that's real important for our police department. Finances, we're gonna approve a list of bills. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at those and have any questions or anything?
I got mine open. I got all mine.
Okay,
I make a motion that we accept the pay our bills.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are going to adjourn the open session and move into a closed session.
Make a motion to adjourn. A second.
All in favor?
Aye.